Alrighty, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to simtraxbroadcasting. We are bringing you the Bandit Racing League here tonight as we get these drivers qualifying here. Got a few of them left to round up here, but I think that's going to go ahead and do it for our qualification time. Eddie Hagge, Rust Allen, and Logan Murray decide not to qualify here tonight, which is rather surprising. We'll see how they start from the back of the field here tonight. As currently they're getting down there in the pit road. Get ready for the drivers meeting here. They'll go ahead and take a look at our race for tonight. Seeing we're going to be here for the Bootlegger 125. And I'll be excited to see how all these guys are going to duke it out there here at North Wilkesboro. Very tough. Seeing this track has all been completely redone all the way back from when they stopped racing on it about 25 years ago. And now they have brought it back. Repaved and back on the track they go. 70 degrees will be the track temperature out there, but we're going to be running 125 laps. They're a little nervous about the racetrack here tonight. We'll talk about a little bit of the situations that they're going to be running into with a 100% fuel limit. 3 sets of tires down in the pits, and they've gone ahead and squared these things away with, unfortunately, one fast repair. Dalton Kilrow, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Bill Harkins will be hanging out there for race control here as they're trying to make sure they got eyes in the sky all over this track because there's going to be a lot of side-by-side racing here. There are a few different grooves that these guys can run out here tonight. High line, low line. The middle is probably more preferred out there. And I would say some of the people out here that are already joining us here in the chat are rooting on for Jonathan Platt not to come away with another win. Well, the past 2 weeks, we've got two different winners. We've seen Curtis Yancey and Nick Nickerson come away with a win. Jonathan Platt will be taking another provisional here tonight. He is not going to be racing, which is going to lead us to our next piece here, which is going to be that points lead. Now, remember, Jonathan Platt had a huge lead up front, but with missing the past few races here, look at Jonathan Platt's number. That 278 mark is, they are quickly closing the gap. Kevin Foster, Eddie Hagge, Connor Gibson, and Nick Nickerson, who's missed a couple races as well, coming off that fresh win, sitting in 5th. He's going to be feeling pretty psyched up about tonight, hoping he can continue that on. Now, a couple of drivers, Benjamin Lacey was able to surge up 5 to 6 positions in the points, although he is down toward the bottom. Hate seeing that for Benjamin Lacey there, but he is going to be able to launch his way up to the front. But a driver who had fallen backwards is the 0-3 of Justin Zemecki. Justin Zemecki had fallen down 5 points with a no-show last week. Everybody pretty excited about how that track went and plenty of racing out there. We are hoping not to have a caution-filled race tonight. Troubles we are seeing out there on the track from the drivers, even Kevin Foster, notably one of them out there in the number 8 Perfect Shine Auto Spot car, has noted that on the turn 4 exit out there, and Bill even had some trouble out there himself trying to get this car set up, turn 4 exit is going to be extremely loose, which oddly enough, that's exactly what the restart zone is, as we're taking a look there at the green zone through that turn. That they're going to be launching from a slick spot. They're going to be trying to shoot toward the start-finish line on a slick spot, and I'm very concerned out here whether or not they're going to be able to handle these cars and keep it, I would say, probably to a minimum of not getting blown to bits out there and smashing each other up. So Robin Allen is going to be hoping for Victor Weaver to come in and clutch here. He would like to be able to get his way up to the front, but is extremely difficult. You can ask drivers like David Lakey, qualify up toward the front, but unfortunately falls backwards in the crowd. It's hard to pass. These guys are really going to have to floss these cars in between each other out there. And how are they going to do it? How are they going to pose a solid run out here tonight without getting themselves in trouble? Now, Eddie Hagge has been having a pretty decent couple of weeks here with Jonathan Platt not being out there, but Eddie Hagge has been getting mashed to pieces. We've seen his car getting tin-canned, rolled up out there, and it's just extremely difficult to continue gaining points or as many points as he would like to obtain when that car is just absolutely destroyed. He can't seem to find a safe spot out there. And we've even seen in the top 3, normally a pretty safe area, nobody's going to be a problem out there. Guys aren't really going to be pushing each other, but we've seen a lot of our cautions that are really oddball when we've seen Nick Nickerson get into the back of Brandon Jackson. We've seen him knock around Jackson Knockout there. We've seen him push around a couple of other drivers up toward the front. We've seen even a quick shove there by Brandon Jackson in the back of Benjamin Lacey. So a lot of these guys that are really, I would say, beside themselves out here, that would love to come away with a huge surge and come away with a win. I would say drivers like Bob Berry would like to find a top 3 finish. You know, he would just like to get out of trouble. Kevin Foster has unfortunately shaken that incident point issue where he kept getting beaten around there in Season 13. Season 14 is much of the same, but that had started rotating toward Benjamin Lacey even all the way into the championship. He was getting beaten and banged around out there, but we moved to Season 15 and just so difficult out there for drivers not getting caught in each other's messes out there. One driver out there, Ethan Sikorsky, he had been complaining most of the time about that right side tires on his race car out there is just absolutely, how do you describe it? It's not impenetrable. He said just unbearable. He was getting around the track. He ended up talking to his crew chief down at the bottom, and the amount of tire wear that he is fighting on the right sides there, he is not happy with the race car out here. So normally that 94 Crunchyroll machine is going to have hopefully a good run here tonight. We've seen him given an earful out there to race control, but the past couple of weeks. But hopefully Ethan Sikorsky is able to keep that to a minimum, and we'll see if I can poke in here with the 94 machine. Ethan Sikorsky, you got a copy on me here, buddy?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I heard you a little bit during practice out there. Right side tire wear is going to be an issue here tonight. What's the biggest thing you're noticing about these late models out there and kind of handling North Wilkesboro?
So far, it's just full tires are relatively loose off of the exit, and once they get some heat in them, they definitely get tighter. So, just a matter of managing your equipment and just staying out of trouble, and hopefully being there at the end.
All right. Well, we even poked around a little bit, watching you out there with Kevin Foster. How is the passing? You know, most of these guys out there are complaining a little bit that there are different grooves, but it's almost everybody tries to exit the turn at the exact same point. So, I mean, we're going to have a bunch of cars mashing each other together, or is passing going to be pretty easy out here tonight?
I think passing is going to be relatively hard. Remember, we did a test race here, and all I did is to hold my teammate that is not here tonight at bay was just run the top and try to keep him pinched as possible, and it relatively worked. So, it's definitely going to be a challenge, but as long as you can set up the runs, I'm sure there's people can get a good passing.
All right. Out of all the drivers out here, seeing that it looks like you might be flying solo here tonight, you know, who are you most worried about out here that might give you more trouble than it's worth?
Oh, GFRs. Oh, they're fast tonight. I think I can definitely give them a run for my money, or their money, but just gotta make it to the end, man. All right, I've been having a rough couple races here. It's been relatively tough, so I just think as long as we can get a good clean race in, I'll be able to be there at the end.
All right. Well, as much time as you've been hanging out in race control, we might have to get you a chair up there. Be careful out there, Ethan.
Yep, thank you.
Yep. All right. Ethan Sikorsky out there here tonight, feeling pretty gutsy. He's a little nervous, so you can almost feel that everything's going to go fine. But he's even after a practice race, still doesn't feel like he's shaking the cobwebs off here, as this track being repaved has taken a bit of a different turn. It has a little bit more banking, and see how all that is going to fare out here. All right. We're taking a look. Got about another minute here in the warm-up. Eddie Haggie's out there currently running 8th there on some of the piece, and Robin Allen, yep, we're racing. Nope, not yet. Not yet. We still got about another 45 seconds here left in the warm-up as these guys try to see if they can scuff up the track just a little more before they get underway here. We'll see if we have anything left here from our drivers. I know one driver we don't get to talk to a whole lot out here, Nolan Gross. You got a copy on me?
Yes, sir.
All right, ugly track here. Drivers pretty upset with how loose these cars are getting. What are you finding?
Oh, I'm having so much fun at this track.
Is this sarcastic as you go ahead and pass Kevin Foster sideways?
No, I'm genuinely having fun. I took last week off because I was tired after helping out in Daytona for the ARCA race. I'm having a great time here. I'm running good. So I'm actually having pretty much fun. I love how these cars are driving right now.
All right, Zemecki, Murray, and Carino are hanging out with you down there in the J3 Gross Motorsports. What do you guys have planned to finish this race strong?
I'm just going to try to run my race because that's typically what we try to do. I honestly don't really know what to do because I've never ran these cars here on the new track. So we'll see how this car runs. I like the way it drives because I tend to like a looser car just because of the cars I race in real life. So it's suiting me a little bit.
All right, beautiful. Well, hopefully we see you fight up toward the front. I noticed some people say they try to wait it out, but they end up running out of time. So they might have to attack early once these tires heat up. Good luck out there, Nolan.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll send Nolan Gross back down to the bottom. That way he can get with his teammates and go ahead and confirm that is exactly what they're going to be doing out here. Right now, Robin Allen is saying a bunch of cautions. I pray we don't. That would really be a crummy finish here. I think that would be, I would say we need more to it than that. You know, I think this should have a lot of green flag racing. There's no reason they can't. I'm just wondering a few quick cautions here at the beginning. Hopefully don't destroy too many race cars, and these guys can get out there and to it. But have no fear, they can get her done. As we get ready for our formation lap, drivers getting out there on the track, finally firing them up and getting rolling out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid here for tonight. Nick Nickerson and Jackson Knox starting on that front row. Benjamin Lacey, hey, looks like he's not going to be starting from the back. Third place for him as he'll be starting to the inside of Kevin Foster. Moving on to Justin Zemecki, who's fifth. David Lakey in our sixth spot. Moving on to Connor Gibson in seventh, and Ethan Sikorsky that we talked to. He'll be starting in the top 10 for the eighth position. Nolan Gross will be sitting ninth. Victor Weaver rounding out our top 10. Not bad by the NOS machine. Hopefully he can hang in there, as Bob Berry and Matt Crocker will be looking to pass him quick, as they'll be starting in row number 6. Moving on to the rest of our field here, where we find Ty Carino sitting in 13th. Russ Allen is 14th. Eddie Hagge, Logan Murray, and it looks like Bill Harkins is out there on the field. He has given this place a try, but decided not to take it here. So looking pretty grim here for the number 12 as he continues to fall back in the points. Race number 9 kicking off here as we get ready to go. Green flag will be coming out, I believe, next time by as they square up this field. Pace car is down pit road. We will be getting underway here in just a moment. Once again, I do want to thank you guys here for joining us here at Simtrax Broadcasting for the Bandit Racing League here on Wednesday night. It's brought to you by the Perfect Shine Auto Spot for all your car detailing needs. Currently, Nick Nickerson is out there in front. Looks like the white, gold, and black car. A little offset there from the number 8 that you see caddy corner to him. Back and to the right. For Kevin Foster, he'll be starting on the outside, so expect the film on the Wild Machine here, Benjamin Lacey, to be doing his best out here. He'll be starting right behind our leader as we are under green. Here we go. Quick shuffle up here as we're sitting along here with Victor Weaver. You notice how everybody's getting pretty antsy and wanting to push on by. Looks like Victor Weaver is able to get away and stay nice and clean. Let's move on up front where we see Ethan Sikorsky now up to 6th. He's gained 2. Quick jump there as the outside line does seem to work. Nolan Gross getting a little bit loose here. Following behind one of his teammates of Justin Zemecki in the 03 right in front of him. Not bad here. His team's almost split up, though. Nolan Gross and Zemecki right with each other. Ty Carino is unfortunately back there in the 15th spot. Logan Murray will be hanging out in the 14th. So these guys spread all about. Right now, the 31 here, Connor Gibson, no-show last week for shows there in the points as he falls backwards, and he's looking to see if he can get back to the front. A little bit of a rough start here as he drops off onto the apron. That's causing a little bit of a pivot move from the 31, not able to hang on. Not bad here so far. Nickerson getting out to a half a second lead here in front of Jackson Knock. Kevin Foster still sits in third. Kevin Foster's having trouble there in season number 13 where he couldn't stop qualifying in 8th position. And he seems to have that second and third position. He's just looking for his first win. And what better place here than North Wilkesboro. Fastest time out there by Nick Nickerson, 19:08. And we're all rally capping out there. If Nickerson can break under the 19-second lap mark, he is still rolling on. He's got to figure out a little bit of a faster time through turn 1 and 2, as he is about 0.2 slower through 1 and 2 than he is through 3 and 4. So he's feeling pretty psyched up here as Bob Berry starts knocking down a quick time. Bob Berry moving on as he sits right behind Logan Murray. Right now, man on the move backwards, unfortunately, is Justin Zemecki. Zemecki, something's happened to his race car here. He's now down 8. This is not looking good right now. Our driver who's sitting in there, top 5 up toward the front there with Nolan Gross, teetering on the inside and outside of the top 5, is now down to the 13th spot. Definitely heartbreaking here. Hopefully we'll see him continue the roll. Be able to see if he can shoot his way up to the front. Let's check back in on Connor Gibson, who's got David Lakey in the rear view mirror now. Lakey now moves from 6th down to 7th. Apparently he's figured out how to patch that wound he normally has out there, qualifying high and falling backwards. Like Pat Steele might have told him to start stepping on that right pedal just a little bit harder out there. See if we can get David Lakey charging forward instead of backwards. Sikorsky now up to 5th. Kevin Foster still holds 3rd. Benjamin Lacey is still teetering around there in the 4th position. No change in our top 2 drivers other than Nickerson still continuously pulling away here as Knock goes ahead and makes a good turn. Able to pick up 0.2 there, but man, he's just not going to be able to dial it in on that one as Nickerson has a rough turn 3 and 4. Not bad here, ladies and gentlemen. Notice you were expecting a little bit of yellow fever out here, but it looks like everything is squared away. Take a look. Here's Lakey to the outside. Nolan Gross dives in really early, and I think that costs him. He was set up for the pass, but Nolan Gross gets onto the apron. Have to enter the turn much later than normal. I think Nolan Gross saw an area, tried to shoot for the inside, and just flattened out on him. Appreciate Mama Goose and Jay joining us here as well out there in the chat. These guys are heating it up here at North Wilkesboro. Currently 14 and a half laps complete here so far. Still under green. Everything looking good. Nolan Gross getting really close here to the 84. Expect a little bump and run here if Lakey can't pick up the pace just a hair. Right now Nolan Gross is running about 1/10 of a second faster here than the 84. Just trying to find the groove. There's the mistake. Lakey hit right there at the bottom. As we sat on top, you get a nice look at the 84. 84 might have a spotter off as he pulls right down into Nolan Gross. Boy, David Lakey rolled on down. That moves him from 7th to 9th as Russ Allen finds that weak spot as well, and he takes advantage. Nolan Gross slides to the outside here. This is the biggest battle here so far tonight. Russ Allen goes ahead and shoots on by, and now Rust up to 7th. Not bad for starting in the 14th position here as he continues this roll on. As Nolan Gross doing a little bit of that blink out here. He's got to get that connection psyched up here. I'm showing him possible disconnect here from Nolan Gross. Caution is out. So Jackson Knock who was sitting in second. Showing currently Jackson Knock might have spun out here, causing a late caution. Let's take a look here over top. See him rolling here on the outside. There's Nolan Gross to the inside line. Yeah, I'm not seeing where Jackson Knock is showing. Jackson Knock is actually at the back of the field here. That does not quite make much sense. So something happened out here on the track that caused a huge mix-up. Yeah, it's like the whole field had a giant hiccup and ended up spinning around. Here's Nolan Gross, contact here by Lakey. Well, I'm hoping that's not what it looks like. Did Lakey get in the back of him here? I'm hoping maybe they just came down into one another. Nolan Gross had been blinking out a little bit here. Yeah, Lakey hits that flat spot, rolls up, and takes Nolan Gross right out of the race. So as the caution comes out, we'll see how this sets up here. David Lakey seeming to be lining back up in the 10th position as they shuffle around a little bit. Checking out there in the chat, you guys are looking for Victor Weaver, currently holding in 4th. Not a bad job for starting back there in the 10th spot. He's moved up 6. Caution laps do not count here, as we'll be resetting them and getting them back underway. Yeah, Nolan Gross is having some serious connection problems here. He's disconnected at least off my area here for about 3 times just this pacing lap. Especially for a guy feeling so confident and wanting to get up to the front, and he was actually really doing an awesome job. He's having some trouble here. Let's get back under green. Nickerson with an awesome restart here. Yeah, you guys were asking a little bit about Jackson Knock. It was a little fumble here by iRacing. By when the caution came out compared to the location of when the caution came out, it must have been Nickerson had crossed the start-finish line, and Jackson Knock was behind. Which, with us not counting cautions, everything got mixed up out here. All right, let's keep in mind right now that Kevin Foster is falling down to the 9th position. As most of you guys did notice that did not slip you. Currently not showing that Kevin Foster did pit on lap number 20. Foster, Lakey, Benjamin Lacey, Bob Berry, and Connor Gibson came down into pits there on lap number 20. So if you're asking why your favorite driver is falling backwards, he decided to come in for fresh tires and get back out there on the track. Everything looking pretty solid here. Finally does it here. Nick Nickerson back to the lead, has gone ahead and broken under the 19-second mark. 18:98, 2 laps ago, and he goes ahead and continues to pull farther and farther away from Jackson Knock. So Knock may just be battling for second here as Ethan Sikorsky's starting to apply just a little bit of pressure here to the inside. Tight racing back around the Logan Murray, Eddie Hagee, and Kevin Foster area. Currently, we are taking a look here at our second position. Right now, Ethan Sikorsky's been making a line here on the inside. Seeing if he can get here to the inside. Got him by a fender. But I think that turn exit speed here by Jackson Knock is going to hold tight. Knock finding success here, middle and high line. But Ethan Sikorsky's looking to get it past. Yeah, there we go. You see him take that fender, get super close there on the inside. That's going to put Knock in a terrible position. And they will be side by side heading across the line. Jackson Knock holding John just barely. Ethan Sikorsky gets a horrible turn entry. Has to rotate and see if he can hold right there close to the double zeros. Once again, this is a battle for second. Jackson Knox still holding on to it. And this is what Foster was complaining about during practice, as Ethan Sikorsky could get him set up, but can't finish the pass. Knock currently one to hold on to that second position. Not going to be is going to be able to for now, but I don't think in the long run. Currently, Ethan Sikorsky is trying to push him a little far to the outside. Speaking of outside, Kevin Foster trying to make a new lane there on the outside. You see him scrubbing the wall here for the past couple of laps on the exit of turn 4. So that's what we warned about a little bit here, as Ethan Sikorsky now has the upper hand here as they go in wheel to wheel into turn 1. Not bad. Sikorsky's looking for it. Russ Allen watching this all unfold. Ethan Sikorsky, that's what it looks like when he disconnects. Currently a little bit rough there on the internet. Ethan Sikorsky gonna have to slide job him here. He does. Goes up in front of Jackson Knock. Knock now gets unseated from his second position and contact. Russ Allen into Jackson Knock. Knock is going to go around, and hopefully nobody else gets collected here. I think Benjamin Lacey might have been messed up, but he pit back on lap number 20. I think he just saw a car sideways and does not want to get in there. Kelly Queel recommending Kevin Foster. I want to ask them to move the wall over a little bit. That might be an idea. So we ride along with Russ Allen there as contact made out there with Jackson Knock. See if we can get a top view of what we see here. That's what ends up happening here. Jackson Knock, Foster around. Weaver does make it. Weaver to the outside, slides right on through. Zemecki and Foster still beating the door off. So Kevin Foster does get collected in this. Where I want to point out, though, is when you see Russ Allen, see how early he's entered this turn. He is way, way too early. And that's what causes his car to straighten out. So this is kind of what everybody lines this up as what a dive bomb here, is when you head into the turn extremely late. You notice right in front is Ethan Sikorsky and Jackson Knock. This is kind of, you want to follow the flow here of the turn. And as we get into the turn, Russ Allen's getting in way too early, so too fast, too far to the inside. It's going to shoot him up middle of the turn, and there's only one person there. Jackson Knock, unfortunately, gets oxy cleaned out, and he gets sent here to the back because now he will be collected up in the rest of this. Logan Murray gets bashed to pieces there. And we'll see how all that goes. Logan Murray hanging out down in pit as the Skull Machine tries to get some of that damage fixed here. 4 tires, fuel, and some damage repair. Minute and 18. Fortunately, with no cautions counting, that should be him setting it back up. I think that may put him a lap down, though. Jackson Knock will be in the back of the field. He'll be starting here to the inside, I believe, of Kevin Foster. I got my dad joke out there. I know, I got to stop with these puns. They're horrible. I think I was doing some last week and I swore I wouldn't do anymore. Shouldn't have done that. All right. All right, Nick Nickerson going to get back to it here. We're going to be on his go. I to get this one started as they come out of turn number 2. Looks like restart's going to set up with Nick Nickerson, Ethan Sikorsky front line. Victor Weaver is going to be starting in spot number 3 with David Lakey to the outside. And then right behind that is going to be Connor Gibson rounding out our top 5 with Benjamin Lacey to his outside. All right, Nickerson, it's an excellent start here. Somebody didn't watch the replay of the broadcast of how Jonathan Platt did it. Able to stick that defender into somebody's door. That way they can't get away. Victor Weaver gets loose. Connor Gibson gets a good piece of the NOS machine right to the right front fender. He holds on, though. Short track race and expect bumping and rubbing out here. There's going to be a lot of it. Bootlegger 125, 2 cautions so far here tonight. One of them, Nolan Gross, gets wiped out, and the next one was Jackson Knock. Currently has Victor Weaver battling, holding on for the 5th spot as Benjamin Lacey's going to take a shot. Even faster goes Nick Nickerson, and he is yet to pit here tonight. 1897 by Nickerson. This guy picks up just a little extra speed each and every lap. He's doing a great job here so far. Apparently tire wear is not affecting him as bad as everybody else here. Take a look at Zemecki here to the outside of Bob Berry. Might be wondering, yep, that's the 7th position. As we take a look at him going for it, Bob Berry, good angle here. Has to enter in much later. When he enters late, Zemecki's going to have to enter in at a bad time, and that's going to cause him to fall way back. Currently, Russ Allen dealing with some issues out there as he goes ahead and gets the 12th position back away from Ty Carino, and I believe Carino on the way back, moving his way backwards. As Eddie Hagge last pit on lap number 33, and they are fighting their way up to the front. Boy, Jackson Knock not interested in hanging in the back of the field here. Nolan Gross, he'll be on the outside of Jackson Knock. Impressive. See Jackson Knock make a correction in his turn on turn exit. Most guys kind of let that wheel glide and let the car rotate to the outside. He actually redid it. Hambone's asking if anybody's downshifting into the corners. Beautiful question. I think we should take a ride along here with Benjamin Lacey. All right, Hambone, that should go ahead and answer your question. No downshifting out here tonight, so Benjamin Lacey now up to 4th here. Benjamin Lacey taking a look here to the inside, pushing Connor Gibson a little farther out there. All right, Real Earth Films moving up to 4th. Elmas has a full clear here, but I think he's a little nervous that Connor Gibson may have a little turn exit speed. He's going to leave him alone. Nickerson holds on to the lead. Ethan Sikorsky, after a bad couple of weeks here, holds on to 2nd. David Lakey is 3rd. That's still pretty happy about the 84 out there. 84 been a little bit messy, though, but he should be okay. Let's take a look at Jackson Knox and Zemecki to the inside. Early has Victor Weaver leading that pile. Bob Berry sits right behind him. Jackson Knox, Justin Zemecki, Nolan Gross, and Matt Crockett. Haven't said much about the Crockett out there. The Liquid Death Machine, number 15, sitting currently in 11th. He would love to see if he can squeak into the top 10. But we got to keep it super clean up front. Victor Weaver and Bob Berry look like they started trading paint there just a little bit as Victor Weaver hangs on the outside line. Definitely like the conservative line Victor Weaver is driving here. Knock is trying to make his own line. Victor off the wall. All right, looks like everything looking pretty sketchy out here. Right now, this is a horrible position I would not want to be in. Here's Eddie Hagge. So you see how Eddie Hagge is right here, taking a look out the windshield. Not a whole lot of groove to get through here. Here's some trouble. Matt Crockett has a fumble. Quick move by Eddie Hagge. He's going to move to the inside, follow Nolan Gross through 3 and 4 here. Right now, pretty tight squeeze as they come across the line. Eddie Hagge there in the McAtee Consulting, number 97. Boy, right now you can see Eddie Hagge wanted to rotate to the top. Good job by the spotter telling him that Zemecki was up there. That way they do not get caught up. A little mix-up here in the front. I don't know if Ethan Sikorsky's had a full disconnect. He had this problem earlier on. Currently showing Ethan Sikorsky chasing along Nick Nickerson. He should still remain in second, so guys, don't pay attention to the tower out there. They're still mixing it up. Sikorsky may have blinked heading across the line. Just goes to show you how much trouble we end up in. Boy, I'm fairly certain. I think I just saw Rust Allen sideways here. No caution. 11 laps left to go, and boy, he's going to try to stay on the lead lap. How is there no caution? Right now, I've got Rust Allen and Kevin Foster backwards here on the track. And hopefully they can stay on the lead lap here. Kevin Foster is going to be way here in the back. That's the leader. Ask him when the stage is. Stage is at lap number 60. You see up there toward the top, 9 laps left to go. We'll double check here, and we'll, during our stage break, we'll take a look at what happened to Rust Allen and Kevin Foster. All right, Kevin Foster trying to hold on, though, as those tires are overheated, something fierce. Kevin Foster is one of the drivers that did take tires there on lap number 33. Rust Allen did not. So as we take a look here, rotate up front where we see Matt Crockett. Crockett here to the inside of Victor Weaver. Weaver's now falling back to 8th. As Robin Allen says, RC might just be taking a personal day. Yeah, that's possible. I believe I've got 3 guys up there. I've got currently Dalton Kilrow up there as our race control. Bill Harkins giving a little bit of assistance up there. Doesn't want to impede. But somebody who's probably impeding is Brandon Action Jackson is actually sitting up top. Is out there in the race control booth. He'll be watching us go with 6 laps left to go. Nickerson uncontested just about all this entire night as Connor Gibson goes ahead and shoots up to 4th. Yeah, David Lakey's been contested all night here. He did work his way up toward the front. A little bumping and banging out there, causing some trouble. Right now, Connor Gibson. Looks like a good move here. That's going to cause him to rotate to the outside. Lakey going to try to cross over. Connor Gibson now going to have to battle from the outside. Lakey, good job here, but you want to talk about something crazy. Look who has returned back to the 6th spot, looking for 5th. That is currently Jackson Knock. Now talk about spinning out and going to the back of the field here. He puts a set of tires on lap 33 and is about holding it to the floor here. Boy, Jackson Knock and David Lakey letting each other know a little bit about it here. So 2 of these guys are shoving each other around. As currently there's Knock and Lakey. Contacting, yeah. So Knock doing this, what he's doing is pushing that 84 car around and trying to have him enter that turn way, way too late. That way Jackson Knock can control the turn. Now he's got 2 laps to let it go. He wants to see if he can finish with the top 5 here. It looks like caution will come out. And this will be the scheduled caution. I have to flying sidekick RC in the throat here. I don't know what is going on. We got to finish that lap. I will take it. Currently, Nickerson is currently on lap number 60. Nickerson waiting for the pace car. This gives us a wonderful time to figure out what happened to Rust Allen and Kevin Foster. This is the uncalled caution here. Wow, Foster, it looks like he's locked him up. So good tires there, ends up spinning both these guys around. Look like Foster might have gotten some assistance there by Ty Carino. Yuck. See if we can get another look at it here. You see Foster rotating up the track there. Kevin's on the brakes. Ty Carino turns into a pit road jack there and picks up the back end of Kevin Foster's vehicle. All right. So we come down into pit road. This is the end of stage number 1. Nickerson comes away with it. Awesome job. So 4 tires, fuel. Anybody out there who had damage, now is the time to fix it. Boy, I couldn't think of a better or well-timed stoppage here to go ahead and square all that away, but maybe they'll be able to get something going here. Fortunately, we're going to try to grab a hold of one of our drivers out here, especially the number 8, Kevin Foster. We took tires on lap number 33 out there, but it didn't seem to stop you right before we made contact out there with Russ Allen. Which is not good. Kevin Foster, you are not supposed to be out of the car. Unbelievable. Is Russ Allen still in his car?
Unfortunately.
Oh my gosh. Well, Kevin Foster wandered off. How was that nice little trip that you got heading into turn number 3 there?
Which part?
Well, the one where it looks like Kevin Foster tried to stop and they used you instead.
I don't know.
Well, no called caution ruins your race here.
Stuff happens.
Yeah, we still got a second half though, buddy. You know, we're going to be starting.
That was going into turn 1.
Oh, turn 1? Okay. Sorry, I got mixed up because I saw there was a problem out there with Ethan Sikorsky's disconnect, Jackson Knox disconnect, and there were a couple guys getting shuffled around out there. But the two of you guys got mixed up out there. You know, we're going to be fighting from the back. You know, you've been pretty fast here all night. You know, how do we get to a clean area out there where we can shoot for a top 5, if not a podium position?
Well, you know, considering I came in here with no practice whatsoever, I think, to be honest, I think there's going to be maybe one more caution. So I'm going to probably be a little aggressive, try to get back up to at least top 10, and then start saving a little bit in that area. But other than that, I think tonight's just going to be luck-based night for this 58 car.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you. The driver I saw charging here late on was Jackson Knock. You know, do you think he's figured out something about this track, or with the lack of practice, have you noticed anything that, you know, you're going to try to do differently on the second run?
To be honest, I think the top to mid lane is going to be one of the more dominant lanes compared to the low lane. You could definitely make the low lane work, so I might try the mid to high lane a little bit more, see what I can do there on a fresh set of tires. And the last time I did the strategy, it worked, so I might try a 2-tire stop strategy too.
Okay, beautiful, because that was going to be the last question I had, is if you would consider taking tires. You did not take tires all last round. And it seemed that some of these guys who took them back on lap 33, that seemed to be the key to everybody shifting up to the front. So, all right, Russ, good luck to you out there, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, Russ Allen out there in the 58 machine. And he'll be starting toward the back of the pack as he got a little bit spun out there with Kevin Foster. So another driver out there I like to talk about a little bit out there is the 00. Hopefully Jackson Knock is still in his race car.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, man. Well, this race has been something else. You get turned around out there, fresh set of tires, and you're able to turn on the afterburners.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I kind of made contact with just about everyone I got past, but at this track, that's kind of what you got to do. You got to put other drivers at the edge to get around them, and so that's what I've been doing.
All right, we rode with you for a little bit on that pass with David Lakey out there. Notice you were able to control the turn by driving it just a little bit deeper, get him a little out of shape so you could finish making the pass. if you have that kind of speed here, Jackson, you know, you got anything for Nick Nickerson?
You know, I'd like to think so, but I didn't have anything for him in the first couple laps, and that was when I was trying just as hard. If I get given the right opportunity, maybe. But we will see.
Boy, have you thought about talking with the rest of the field out there and seeing if everyone is willing to pit for tires while he doesn't?
I have not, but that'd be a good idea. I like that one.
Attaboy. All right, Jackson. Well, I will leave you to it because that might be just an idea you might really want to give a consideration out there because that seemed to definitely give the upper hand to a lot of the drivers out there. All right, Jackson, are you hanging out with the CPR team tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. All right, buddy. Good luck to you out there.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep. All right, Jackson. Doc, trying to make sure he stays tuned in. I think I might almost messed him up there, but we were trying to make sure he can get lined back up here on the track and get ready to get back on out there. I believe he is currently still running the Z-Max banner there on top. Uh-oh. That's all right. They got the Perfect Shine Auto Spa out there on the other cars. A couple of these guys are still working on getting the banners out there. As you see, Zemecki getting ready to line up right behind Logan Murray, his own teammate. Ooh, boy. Yeah, like I said, we're just going for a solid finish. Position is irrelevant. Yeah, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say there's animosity out there on the track, but I guarantee you that everybody's going to be thinking a little bit differently about the guy next to him. You know, if Jackson Knox says he makes contact with every driver he passed, he may have a target on his back here if he's not careful. So we'll see how he comes out. He should be starting in the 5th position. David Lakey will be restarting in 6th. Ethan Sikorsky sitting in the 2nd position, as I believe they are waiting for the last run here, waiting for the pace car to come on around. Nickerson will get going here in just a moment. As we desperately wait to get behind the pace car and get going again. And currently Nickerson has the fastest lap out there on the track. Boy, he's had a blazing time out here tonight. Robin Allen out there saying there's no we in team. Yeah, I was wondering out there, Robin Allen, if Jonathan Platt was to continue his winning streak, if they inverted the field, if that would make it a little more interesting at the stage. Have that guy fight from dead last and see how he does. Kind of like the All-Star race. That'd be cool. All right. So this fine Wednesday night brought to you by Simtrax Broadcasting. We are here with the Bandit Racing League. The Bootlegger 125 Stage 1 is come to a completion. As drivers start warming up these fresh tires that they have thrown on the race car here. We'll be getting back underway here in, I believe, about 3 laps. They'll get these cars back underway. Here, let's see, they got Russ Allen out there. Here, let's see him shuffling up toward the front. Something tells me it's got him tangled up a little bit, being a lap down. So he'll get the lucky dog and get pushed. Attaboy, Jay. there's no we in team, but there is me. Genius. Pace car is on off. We should be getting ready to go here next time by. Yeah, what's next, Jay? Meat? Come on, you're killing me. 62 machine, be inside here. of Eddie Hagee. You say we get this back under green. Nickerson thinks it's a good idea. Here we go. Oh, Ethan Sikorsky a little slow on this restart here. That's going to allow Benjamin Lacey to attack right off the bat. Good sling through here. Looks like some contact here with Jackson Knock. And the 31 of Connor Gibson. Bootlegger 125 back on track. Across the line goes Nick Nickerson. Benjamin Lacey sits in second. Ethan Sikorsky to third. Jackson Knock now up to fourth. That's going to mean Connor Gibson and David Lake are now going to duke it out. Whoop. David Lake, a little bit of a blink out there. Sorry, we lost him there for a second. It's currently Lakey is able to make a clean swing. 31 has to dial it down toward the bottom. As you see, Knock taking the extreme high line. 31 of Connor Gibson drops it off the table. Onto the apron, and now he's going to be fighting back. Bob Berry's taking a look. Not bad here. 19:01 last lap for Nickerson. 18:98. That's just about 0.10 of a second slower than Nickerson's fastest lap. And who matches the fastest lap for Nickerson? Benjamin Lacey, 18:97. Look at some of these best times out there in the tower. These guys are starting to match it up now. Three drivers breaking under the 19-second mark. Nickerson, Lacey, and Sikorsky. Not saying I'm holding against Sikorsky, but I didn't think he'd be one of those guys, but he is definitely doing it. Driving the tires off that car. Let's see if he can save any until the end of the race. Gained 5 already. Positions out there on the track. So as it continues this charge through, 1, 2, and 3. Nickerson, Lacey, and Sikorsky will move back to Jackson Knock, who's 4th. David Lakey, 5th. Connor Gibson, Bob Berry, Matt Crockett back here in the 8th position. Nolan Gross is 9th, and Zemecki rounding out our top 10. Victor Weaver fans wondering where he's at, falling back to the 14th spot. Like his pit time about the same as everybody else's, but I'm wondering as this track starts to rubber up, this thing is not treating him well. Might want to put the a little more go-go juice in that thing, get it going again. Wonder if too much fuel in there has got too much weight in the car, so might be falling backwards just a hair. Check up front as we march our way back forward. Connor Gibson, I see, is taking a little bit of a different line. Boy, that's going to give Connor Gibson a really bad turn here. Bob Berry takes a look. I think Berry might have chickened out there a little bit as he falls back, lets off the gas. Because I think he thought the 31 was coming down into him there. I don't blame him. Still got a lot more race left to go. Still trying to find a groove here is Justin Zemecki. So he is currently hanging out in the 10th position. Taking a look up front, looks like Lakey's under fire out there. By Connor Gibson. Gibson taking a look here to the inside. This is for that number 5 spot. All right, Connor Gibson. About half a car length from being on the same hand here as he takes a look to the inside. Can't get it. Lakey, great turn. Able to plant and go through turn 1 and 2. 3 and 4, he's able to clear, makes a scrub with the wall. Connor Gibson going to be back on the attack again. Currently separated up front, 1, 2, and 3, about half a second apiece. I wonder if Jackson Knock has run out of steam. One thing is for certain, everybody getting really spread out here. Eddie Hagge way here in the back. Showing currently he's about 2.5 seconds from finding Ty Carino. I don't know if there was a mix-up out here on the track. Showing there's a shuffle up here in the back. I don't think so. Here's maybe a blink out. Ended up getting in some trouble there. But I don't see any trouble that caused Eddie Hagge to shuffle to the back here. Boy, he is way off pace. Way off pace here for the 97. So we'll check you back in on him. Hopefully he doesn't go a lap down. This is Jackson Knock. Look how far we got to go back to find David Lakey. 2 seconds. That's pretty large here for a short track. You see these guys mixing it up. Nolan Gross doing a little bit of shuffling out there. Right now, David Lakey doing his best to see if he can fight off Connor Gibson. Connor looking to the inside. Lakey goes in and smacks into him. Look here at the 31. Robin Allen asked if we got technical difficulties much. The trouble that ends up causing the tower to do a lot of this shuffling is when guys are having disconnect issues around the start-finish line. Like Ethan Sikorsky, we just lost him, and now he's back. So hopefully you will see him stay stuck in third. What ends up happening is they go to cross the start-finish line. It's a disconnect. It pushes him to the back. And then we have to wait till he goes around the track one more time before it can re-register him and get him back on track. He's just losing connection out here with the clouds. So it's been a rough night, especially with the 94 blinking yet again. See, we're losing him. This is our view looking at him. As you can see, he's blinking and going away. So right now, race control will have his eyes on the 94 out there of Ethan Sikorsky. And the only reason that being is with the blinking that he's doing, if he has drivers around him, he may be black flagged and sent to the back. So Ethan Sikorsky, David Lakey's known for doing a lot of blinking out here as well. He's been shuffling out there, and Nolan Gross has been doing a lot of disconnections. So yeah, Robin, we're trying to keep it. We're trying to keep everything under wraps here. Eddie Hagge being one of them. Sitting almost now 3 seconds off pace. And I think he's about 3 seconds from finding Nickerson. Where Nickerson is now going to start breathing down his neck here. This is currently on top of Nickerson's car. You'll see around this turn that you'll see Eddie Hagge hanging out there crossing the line heading into turn 1. So he's got him by about a straightaway, and that's about it. Sikorsky starting to close the gap here with Benjamin Lacey. Everyone pretty spread apart. Let's check back in on Logan Murray. There we go. Logan Murray here for the 8th position. And goes and moves Crockett back 1. Crockett now to 9th. And now our top 10 is Rust Allen as he returns back. Boy, look at that shot to the inside here. I think drivers like Eddie Hagge right now, assuming there's going to be cautions, wasn't worried about falling backwards. But he will be here in a bit. See some back here showing Connor Gibson. Once again, another blink out here by the 31. There he is. Connor Gibson, we lost him by about half a lap there. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of the trouble we're running into. Hambone saying, the good old iRacing. Well, it could be worse. Could be iPacing. But right now, we are doing an awesome job here tonight. I think this is a record low here for the late model series that we're running here on Wednesday nights. Definitely a great run here so far. This should be race number 9. As race number 9 is underway here, I believe we still have plenty of season left. As this continues, currently we are, yes, the Bootlegger will be at the America 150 at USA International Speedway. Yeah, not bad. We still got another 10 races left to go. Everybody jumping for joy on that. We appreciate how many of you guys are showing up here for the broadcast. Definitely a busy night here tonight. Definitely the way this race is going. Ty Carino getting a little out of shape back here around Victor Weaver. Somebody almost took somebody's door off there. Ty way up into the 18. Let's check in on Matt Crockett. Crockett trying to hold off Russ down here. There's the 58. Now these guys are pretty much following each other. Jay out there saying not a bad sized season. No, it is not. Jay, you must have another off week here, buddy. I saw with that new rig setup you sent me that you should be out here racing. I'm still down a steering wheel. Got to get the direct drive fixed. Checking in on Logan Murray. All right, Logan Murray up to 7th. Bob Berry back to 8th. So everything pretty much single file here. Benjamin Lacey only a quarter of a second. Out in front of Ethan Skorsky. Boy, you know you've been under green for a while when your top 5 are separated by 7 seconds. Which is not bad. They should have enough fuel to make it to the end. Are they going to have enough tire to save this? Is somebody going to make a mistake? Boy, speaking of making a mistake, Kevin Foster out there. Might want to put a set of skateboard wheels on the outside of that car. Boy, it's cramming that wall back just a little bit farther. Wonder if Kevin Foster's used to racing the old track before the safer barrier walls came up. It's the kind of track Benny Parsons liked to run. Bone out there saying it's always good to see Nick back in form. Yeah, I would say it's about time to see Nick return back to victory lane. He's looking to line himself up for back-to-back wins here. Boy. Right now, Kevin Foster. Super loose here, out there racing with Nolan Gross. Right, Robin Allen. I hope you're not talking about Victor. Victor's doing a heck of a job out here. Boy, hadn't been involved in any wrecks. Eddie Haggy, unfortunately, has passed him, though. But this is currently Victor Weaver. Might be lining himself up to be our first car a lap down. Robin Allen's asking just how safe are safer walls for iRacing drivers. Not very safe. I would say it doesn't damage the car as much. if there were concrete walls. But what it does is it's giving problems of the drivers not being able to rotate an extra foot to the outside. As you can see, how Victor Weaver's coming up to it there. I think if Kevin Foster had just a little more room, he might stop smacking it off the wall there. As he finally overcomes Nolan Gross, Kevin Foster. Looks like top 10 for him. He's still got 6 more to go to get back to his original qualifying position. Matt Crockett. Boy, that was a yucky pass. Take another look at it here. Gets into the back of him. And looks like Rebecca out there is requesting a caution. I can't not believe you're requesting a caution. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Normally we're begging for him to stop. Right now, these are 2 closest drivers out here on the track. Nolan Gross getting a little out of shape. Looks like he's going to try to dive it in there. Get underneath. Ooh, see? Nolan Gross. We had no idea where he was until he's making contact with Crockett out there. Wild race here so far. 11 laps left to go. I think you guys are going to be just as surprised as I am. Eddie Haggy on his way down in the pits. Yeah, I think he's thrown in the towel. He's had enough. Something's wrong with that car. Ever since that last pit stop. I don't know if he's got some trouble going on. We'll see if he ends up having to take it back to the garage. Nickerson and Benjamin Lacey. Yeah, Hambone, I would say that's another one. That's another one finally returning back to some consistent high finishes. Benjamin Lacey here in the Film in the Wild machine. Currently now sitting second. Ethan Sikorsky gets knocked on back. So right now these 3 going at it. I'm waiting to see. I don't think Jackson Knock has got enough time. Easy there, Rebecca. Easy. All right, let's take a look at Kevin Foster here. Foster running up on Rust Allen. Boy, I don't know. Kevin Foster is like ice skating out here. All right, I've got a heck of a stigmatism in my left eye. Where is Kevin Foster's left front wheel? There it is. We had that thing getting almost missing there. All right, everything pretty safe here. 4 laps left to go. Nobody really doing anything crazy out here. These are the 2 closest guys within 0.2 of a second of each other. Right now, wondering if Foster's going to have anything for Rust Allen here. Foster doing everything he can, trying to triangulate these turns. Foster to the inside. Foster looking for 8th. This is going to help his points chase. All right, white flag is out. Nickerson already halfway to completing this race. Keep the battle going on there. Nickerson, turn number 3, with almost a 3-second lead over top of Benjamin Lacey here. There's Benjamin and Ethan Sikorsky. Awesome job. 1, 2, and 3. Kevin Foster was able to overtake Rust Allen. Rust drops to 9th. Nolan Gross looks like he's going to be finishing there in the 10th spot. May have some drivers out here that may be DNF. Justin Zemecki, he needs to get around another time here. I don't know if there's something wrong with that race car. I'm showing Matt Crockett and Ty Carino. Matt Crockett, 124.99. All right, great race in terms of cautions, no kidding. Got that one cleaned up. I would say if the first race of the season went like that, I think we'd have another 10 to 15 more drivers. It was definitely messy at the beginning of the season, but the guys figured it out. As Rebecca Halsey is saying, least amount of cautions ever. Yes, it is. Yep. You wouldn't believe it. Only 2 cautions here tonight. 3 in total. One of them was actually a stage break. But everything pretty solid out there. So great race here by our drivers. Got to be pretty excited with how everything unfolded here. And before Ethan Sikorsky goes down there and starts giving RC an earful, let's go ahead and talk to our third place driver, Ethan Sikorsky. We talked to you at the beginning. Well, looks like you're going to be talking to you here at the end. Gained 5 positions. How was the race out there tonight?
Oh, it was actually a lot of fun. For once, I didn't die, so I say that's a win in my book. So, yeah, just first clean race that we've had, and I gotta tell you, the strat worked. All right, I've lowered expectations, and that usually works in my book for some reason. So, but yeah, no, it was a good race. I had a lot of fun battling Ben and Nick, and definitely learned quite a bit from them. So, couldn't ask for a better race.
When we look at the race here tonight, a lot of slipping and sliding out there. You know, are we going to see something like that next week at USA International Speedway?
Probably. I mean, Bill and everyone has put together these setups to make them run a lot looser. So, yeah, it's probably going to be the same thing. So, who knows?
All right, bunch of guys out there ice skating tonight. Pretty rough. All right, Ethan, shout out time there, buddy.
Thanks to my teammates for being good teammates. Thanks for Kevin and everyone for putting together a fun league, and look forward to next week.
Beautiful. All right, Ethan Sikorsky, good luck to you out there, buddy. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for those boys. That moves us on to our number 7 machine, Benjamin Lacey. Well, we're starting to get the hang of this here, buddy. Second position. Talk to me about this race.
Yeah, I don't know what Nick had figured out, but he had something figured out. I just couldn't catch him, and I was talking to myself there when he pulled me in there, but I was asking myself if I had damage on the right front, because it kind of might appear that way. It might kind of explain why I couldn't keep up there with him for a bit. But Nick was fast and well-earned race there, and it was fun battling there with Ethan for our P2. But yeah, fun car.
All the top 3 of you guys are the only ones to break under 19-second laps out there. It is extremely difficult when you're out there racing. Lack of cautions, was that the key to success tonight?
I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot of what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get a bunch of cautions there. So how hard do you push? How hard do you don't push? I kind of started pushing, I think, a little bit midway through that second run, trying to catch up there to Nick, and then no cautions fell. So didn't get really anywhere on that. So that was kind of a bummer. But yeah, it's kind of the luck of the draw with short tracks like this. And we got some good green flag racing, which made it fun and was able to come away with P2.
Yeah, no kidding. We moved him USA Speedway next week. It almost seems like I've talked to a couple people about that track, and I've got to say the excitement level doesn't seem quite as high.
I'm not too familiar with that track, so I can't throw an opinion down one way or the other. I guess just have to take it and see what it is.
All right, well, you're going to be running 150 laps there, so that's going to be pretty close, pretty tight, and a lot of bumping and banging out there. Ben, go ahead and give me shout-outs here, bud.
Yeah, Film in the Wild, youtube.com/Film in the Wild, realearthfilms.org, REEL films.org. Check them out. Give them a shout-out on YouTube. That'd be awesome. And Patrick, appreciate you up in the broadcast booth, giving it your all every week. It's awesome. And Kevin and Bill for doing a lot of the work on the league, and all the other admins and everybody who comes out, man. Appreciate y'all, and everybody watching. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and much love to you guys.
Yep, and we appreciate you showing up for season 15, Ben. Glad to see you back in podium positions, buddy. Maybe one more position, and we'll I think we'll have a smile out of you.
Hopefully, I'm smiling right now. So,
attaboy. All right, Ben. Appreciate you, big dog.
You bet.
All right, everybody. That is the number 7 machine out there of Benjamin Lacey. Well, no surprise here. The number 2 car of Nickerson. He doesn't get P2 this time, but he goes back-to-back wins here. Nickerson, what a race here, buddy. You had this track figured out.
Yeah, I think I just got a little bit lucky with how everything played out. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to run away with it in the beginning, but then some key guys took tires in the beginning on that first yellow and kind of gave me a little bit of a buffer to kind of run away with it for a little bit, expecting them to come up, but I'm sure traffic kind of held him up a little bit. But and then the second half, man, I don't know, I guess I found the groove. I was just going, and I felt like Ben was kind of getting me a little bit there. Well, what was unfortunate is that it seemed like the track went really one line for the second half, and like the first half, it felt like there was a couple options, and I'm sure Ben, we were running the same exact pace, running the bottom, so he was losing time trying to find any other line that might work, and there just wasn't anything there, so that's probably what happened there. But all in all, man, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll take it.
All right, well, this is back-to-back. New Smyrna, you had the pole, won the race. Same thing here tonight. The America 150 at USA International Speedway is next week. We're going to try to go 3 for 3.
Absolutely. As long as Platt's not here. Just kidding.
Well, he takes another provisional, which should give him, I believe, a 17th place finish. So it's going to be pretty tough for him, as I believe the points chase is getting a lot tighter. I think this is where somebody finally overtakes Jonathan Platt and knocks him off that top stage. He went 5 for 5 and starts seeming your streak is finally coming together. Let's knock this out. The USA International Speedway, South Boston, or Irwindale? Which one are you most excited about?
Ooh, man, I would have to say Irwindale. Because Irwindale is one of those tracks that you have to run the outside, that's the fast line. So that's going to be interesting to see. It's probably going to be very exciting with people are probably going to have to do a lot of slide jobs to get passed around there.
Yeah, we definitely saw.
Yeah, no, it's been years since I ran at Irwindale, so who knows what it's like now, but yeah.
Dude, the last time I ran at Irwindale was a figure 8. I thought that's what you guys were doing. I said, boy, that's going to be a rough race, because it's called the Clear Low Still Died. So
we were talking, we should do a figure 8.
Yeah. God, close your eyes. All right, Nick, congratulations on the win. Go and give me your shout-outs here, and let's get you ready for the next race. Yeah,
man, just Kevin, Bill, and Perfect Shine Auto Spa. Maybe I guess the gold paint has been working out for me. And everybody that participates, the admins, and I appreciate putting the broadcast on, man. I'll see you next week.
Awesome. All right, buddy. Good luck to you out there, and help Kevin Foster. That poor guy, I don't know what happened to him tonight. He got absolutely obliterated, but hopefully we'll see him return for a better finish.
Hey, he took them tires and put them back there. That's what happens.
Yeah, you might as well throw those things in the trash. Good luck, Nick.
All right, man. Take care, man.
All right, everybody. Nick Nickerson going ahead and winning this race here tonight. Awesome job. All laps led by that man as he came away with an awesome finish. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for us here with the Bandit Racing League. Once again, awesome race here tonight. Two cautions out of 125 laps. Hopefully they can redo this. You heard me say more than once, USA International Speedway will be next week. I'll be posting a bunch of streams here tonight. That way you guys can follow along here, and then we'll definitely keep it lively out there. Hambone, appreciate you joining us here, and appreciate the kudos out there for the broadcast. But that's going to do it for us here. Simtrax Broadcasting signing off with the Bandit Racing League. Be well, be safe, be kind. We'll see all you guys next time.